The law required that it happen.
Wow.
The law required that every single ballot be observed because these mail-in ballots are inherently prone to fraud. They're easy to send in 100 of them,
right?
200 of them.
Yeah, that is my nap time alarm.
Right.
So this is a very important part of the process that removes the fraud.
Right.
In the case of,
I mean, yeah, it'd be interesting to see if anything comes of that. But the only problem is, like, once you have 100, accusations, and all 100 are debunked within a day, you know what I mean, or within a week, then it's hard to believe anything that comes out. And if there's no tangible, process being done to certify the process is being done correctly, then it's just politics. All the stuff you see online, it's just politics. It's just propaganda. If it's actually real, then there's going to be a lot of stories about it. Media companies, believe it or not, like, they're not that biased. They'll follow the profit motive. If there's a widespread voter fraud event happening, news companies are going to want to jump on that. Fox News is going to want to jump on that. They'll make tons of money off that. Their incentives align
400
perfectly.
or so ballots, there was
Cloud.
no Republican inspector. We have 50 different witnesses to establish that and videotape.
Right. Yeah, and we just ran some of that videotape.
And we went to court, and the court required that we be allowed 6 feet closer so we could see the ballots.
Mm-hmm.
When Corey Lewandowski and his colleagues went back with the court order, that we were put 6 feet closer, but the people counting the ballots were moved 10 feet further
It really
away.
isn't legal, I don't think. But remember, nothing is illegal. Or nothing is illegal if there's no plan to enforce it or there's no government to enforce it.
Oh,
And
right.
he was threatened with arrest by the
But all that
sheriff.
fraud, I mean, it has to be some type of
Anything else.
illegal.
Well, you should have just used reverse psychology and said, move them 10 feet away. Like, no, we're going to move them closer.
Oh, God, this guy is so unfunny.
We don't need to
People
lower
tell me he's a
than,
comedian,
Giuliani.
not a political commentator, but I cannot even take that argument. No way.
Mayor and I are
And the
speaking-
lawsuit-
This guy's not funny
right
at all.
now.
He makes a black voice
go ahead.
sometimes.
The lawsuit we file tomorrow will allege what I just told you, and we will have a hearing and we will prove it. But by the time we're finished, that number is going to go way up because we just started in
What's up,
Pittsburgh
Jay?
and we're up to 300.
Yeah, he does that
We
black guy
haven't looked
voice.
at Lackawanna County, where we believe there are another couple of thousand.
He's a
And
comedian.
we think the Philadelphia number is far in excess of 135.
Right, I can
So
imagine. Now,
those ballots, as Ken Starr
Hey guys, did you know the only voting fraud taking place is in the exact places Republicans need to swing to win the election? It's only happening there somehow. It's crazy, really.
said just
Oh
a
yeah,
few
by the way,
minutes ago,
all the Senate and House races, no voter
there's no
fraud.
choice with regard
100%
to those
clean,
ballots
right?
that were unlawfully counted.
right.
There's no way they have to be thrown out.
Now, does this...
Almost like
We are saying, without any evidence, we are saying the ballots were wrongfully counted. Therefore, every person who voted has officially lost their right to vote.
a dead person voting.
Right.
We don't know if it's a valid ballot or not.
And I'm
No
quite-
dead person. If you tried to vote, as a dead person, or if you tried to vote on behalf of a dead person, they would reject the ballot. In fact, from Lackawanna County in Pennsylvania, a Trump supporter ordered a ballot in the mail for his dead mother and voted on her behalf. So filled out her ballot and sent it in. They rejected the ballot, and he got arrested. But now.
Sure, there are a few of those in there as well. So I heard you mention yesterday at your press conference 650,000. I'm assuming that potentially compromised votes. And by the way, Mayor Giuliani has been very measured in this, where he said when they refuse to allow accountability, it gives the appearance of fraud. But we're not saying voter fraud. We're saying irregularities. It could be fraud. It could be incompetence. It could be system error. I want to be clear about that. People who care about free and fair elections should want every legal vote to be counted. And like I said, a champion fighter, they're never happy with a split decision win if it's in question. There's usually some kind of a rematch. So
Yeah, it's fighting. There needs to be a rematch in the election. Yeah, so here you go. Man charged with signing deceased mother's name on mail-in ballot application. This stuff is always caught. It's a pretty good system because it's so spread out and the powers are so delegated around.
you say
It's pretty solid,
650,000.
honestly.
Is that when estimating the total when you count from these other counties?
That's why there's such low
that
fraud
would be-
levels
that
with
would
mail-in
be-
ballots.
Counting all of the other counties and all of the other methods of fraud.
Yeah, it's
that
so
were
complicated.
involved.
It's
If we
hard to
talk just
corrupt.
about
That's one of the things.
unobserved mail-in votes, probably going to reach about 500, 600,000.
And the idea that Republicans on Election Day simply didn't see the count, no. They planned for this entire thing to happen in Pennsylvania, in Georgia, in Wisconsin. They refused to count or Michigan too, I think. They refused to count the ballots early like 40 states did. Republicans purposely caused chaos so they can, use it for their advantage.
Right.
Wow.
Right now we're at 350,000 exact, where there's a witness you can tie to an affidavit. That witness is ready to go to court and swear under oath in front of a judge.
Right.
So we make our record.
And
that's what you would call it legally.
and
Make
that-
our record.
Yeah.
Because it's going to go to the Supreme Court for sure.
And that total number that you're using, does that also include, in other words, would people add on top of that the ballots that came in after 8 p.m. or would you be including that in that total number because those again are ones that just simply couldn't be verified?
At this point, we don't have a total on that, but that will be included in the lawsuit because.
And by the way, he's only on here because no other news stations will take his ass. And we actually had an instance where Barr announced that he would focus on specific allegations of voter fraud. Specific. So basically whatever Trump wants. This is the power Trump has to help sway the election because he's in control of the executive. So someone actually quit. Top Justice Department official quit because of this, because they're going against the office's duty, and they're actually swaying the election now. It's really bad stuff.
Justice Alito specifically ruled that those ballots should be put aside. And
Right.
many of them were not put aside. Many of them were included in the actual vote total.
But how do you
They're
fix
also
that then?
going to
How
have
do
to
you
be-
fix that? That's my question. That's where Americans feel hopeless if they were just funneled in there. Is there any way of knowing?
We have a record in which I think we can recreate most of those.
Good.
Okay.
A record
good.
was kept of those, so we can recreate most of those.
Okay, good. Yeah, because I know that you must know that's a question many Americans have. They say, well, they got away with it because they just sort of feathered in the ones that were taken in after 8 p.m. You feel pretty confident that you have a system that would be substantiated.
Oh, yeah, and don't think Trump's ever going to give up. Trump will drive our country into a literal civil war before he concedes. I guarantee it. There's no way that man ever steps down, unless if there was some type of grand deal match, or if he said he was going to, start his own media company, maybe, if he is completely forced to. But this guy is a narcissistic sociopath. He is psychotic as well. He has so many mental disorders, it's not even funny. Like, this guy will do anything.
Evidence for most of them.
Yeah, honestly, not for all, but
Right.
enough. I don't think we're ever going to catch all of the ballots that weren't inspected. But I
Right.
think we're going to get pretty close. I think we'll get into the multiple hundreds. We're at 350 now. I wouldn't be surprised if we end at 500 or 600 or 700.
Right. Now, what would you say to some people who say, because obviously you've been focusing, Mayor Giuliani, on and the president's attorney, obviously, on Pennsylvania, again, because the media has called all of these states for Biden, where they would say, well, that doesn't matter. Joe Biden is still the winner, even if Pennsylvania were to flip. Is there something substantial that you witnessed, or do you plan on moving on?
No, because Pennsylvania was called because all ballots they went through a process to be legitimized, and they got counted. Therefore, Joe Biden won the state. The Trump campaign is saying these ballots that went through the legal process are actually illegal because of conspiracy, and they don't have much proof to back up any wrongdoing on behalf of anybody. But I mean, if they get they get a case to the right lawyer somewhere, then the right judge somewhere, then who knows what can happen in this entire system. Actually, they're rolling in PA right now. One of them got sent to a couple Obama appointees, so that might be a good thing.
To other states?
Well, Arizona's not over yet.
That's true.
And if he wins Arizona and Pennsylvania, he's pretty darn close.
Maybe it's crimes. I don't think rich people are like touchable though. Like, even if they charge him for something, he wouldn't get in trouble for it, but it'd be bad for his ego. I think he's completely driven by his ego and his narcissism in every move. So yeah, definitely that could be a part of it.
Arizona hasn't actually finished. It's probably going to finish within 10,000 votes.
Right.
There are allegations similar in Arizona to the ones that we have elsewhere, not in the same numbers, but then again, we don't have the same number to overcome.
Right.
We have to overcome 41,000 right now in Philadelphia. The most we may win Arizona.
I was muted. Okay, now I'm back. If you're trying to protect the process, you don't say we need to overcome a certain number of ballots in a specific Democratic stronghold. That's not, an indicator that you care about the actual process and care about legal voting or whatever. It's not overcoming ballots if you're actually going through a process to make sure it's legal. I mean, it's comedy.
Right.
But the most we'd have to overcome is 6,000 or 7,000. There are equally disturbing
When's the last time a politician went to
allegations that we
prison?
are collecting.
I don't
And
know.
that lawsuit will probably take a day.
Oh
or two.
yeah, the guy from Ukraine that admitted the Hunter Biden stuff spoke up today. He spoke up and said They said he said that he was offered a U.S. visa if he made up the story about Hunter Biden. So yeah, this stuff after 1 or 2 weeks can easily be debunked. It's all it takes.
More in Michigan. In Michigan, we have even stronger evidence of ballots
if you're
that
rich,
came in after,
you're not below the law,
as
right?
well as ballots,
You're above the law.
ballots in which Democrats were allowed to cure and Republicans weren't.
Okay. Because that's separate. What we've
That
talked
just
about
didn't
primarily in Michigan is,
happen.
the Dominion software, which flipped 6,000 votes for Trump to Biden and back. You're talking about, again, the same situation in Michigan as Pennsylvania, meaning ballots coming in after, cured ballots. How much of a concern is it as well?
And changed ballots. Ballots that actually Democrats were given an opportunity to change, Republicans weren't, and the Dominion issue has not been fully investigated yet.
Right.
But
The Dominion thing is a conspiracy theory. That is that was proven wrong. But the other thing about only Democrats getting to fix their ballots, I didn't see any proof of that. I wish I could see an actual news article on that or some evidence.
Very, very live issue in Michigan.
Right. So, but my point is, even just completely disregarding that, which led to the error of thousands of votes, there's still a lot of other irregularities in Michigan comparable to Pennsylvania, which isn't really so much the focal point of the Dominion software. You're saying all of the above have been happening in Michigan. Wow. Yeah.
Correct.
I will say this is speculate. Go ahead.
The states in which there was the states in which there is evidence that they interfered in the count and didn't allow Republicans to participate are Arizona, Michigan, Pennsylvania,
PA, Wisconsin, Georgia,
also
North Carolina,
Georgia,
all the swing states.
Without any question, those are all states.
All the states where it needs more votes.
Affidavits from people saying that there was interference, and in Nevada,
affidavits.
Right. Well, of course, but Nevada. I
forgot
without saying.
the other state they need to win.
Nevada has every issue, by the way.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Yeah, Nevada has every issue. We went through some issues.
Put down every issue.
Right. Put down. I mean, does it surprise anybody where legalized gambling?
Actually, real dead people coming in and voting.
Right. Yes. Exactly. I said Howard Hughes voted in
That
Nevada.
sure
It
happens.
was just
So there was a
dominant.
case. I forget which state this was, but a guy had the same name as his father, and his father was born in, I think, 1910 or something. So the guy had the same name as his father. He's like 70 years old or something, and he voted, but there was a glitch in the system where it counted his vote as his father. So they got it fixed, but it said that he was born in it said he was like 120 years old. So that's where that came from. Those allegations. All of these things, if you dig a little bit, you can find really clear explanations for why they're happening.